One of the first things you're going to have to do in the diesel technology and heavy equipment technology program during safety is to learn how to use battery charger safely, correctly. We're going to go over our manual battery charger today. We're going to reference the manual battery charger basic operation sheet. This is located in Schoology digitally. We'll give you a paper copy for your binder. So as I demonstrate this today, I'm literally going to go down the list step by step because you will have to practice this and then demonstrate it back to the instructor that you know all the steps without using the paper. That's your sign off. So today we're going to use this battery charger, manual battery charger, and you'll see it has two knobs and two gauges. First thing we want to do is make sure all the switches, knobs, and timers are in the off position, like here, timer off. And as far as the charge rate or boost charge, the lowest position would be the 6 volts, 60 amp. So we'll make sure that's on the lowest setting. If you run across one of the chargers and there is an off setting for that, you can turn that to off. And always make sure that your power cord is disconnected. It's probably wrapped up around the charger, but unwrap it, but don't plug it in. Make sure that it's not plugged in. And then we're going to take the load leads off the charger. One red, one black. Red is positive and black is negative. On our battery, a real battery will not have the color-coded posts. We just have them there for practice. But your battery will be marked as positive and negative. POS for positive, NEG for negative. That will be, remember to attach them properly. Red to positive is the first, and then black to negative is last. The golden rule, which you'll see on the lower part of the paper, is that you put the negative cable on last and remove it first when you're disconnected, whether it's a charger or batteries in a vehicle. Now, once the negative clamp is attached, make a good connection there. At that time, we would plug in our power cord, 110 power cord. We're going to determine our battery voltage is 12 volts. And that's going to determine when we set our switches. And we're going to turn the timer knob up to a certain amount of time. Referencing the chart again, if you look at the bottom, you need to know what the current battery voltage is and what rate we're going to charge at. That'll tell us how long. So this battery is 75% charged. It's an automotive style battery. And we're going to charge a maximum of 60 amps. So if we look at our chart, automotive 12 volt, 75%, 25 minutes at a 60 amp rate. Never charge above the 60 amps. And the slower that you charge, the lower rate that you charge, the better for the battery. Sometimes you have to do a fast charge. So looking at 25 minutes, we'll set our timer to approximately 25 minutes. On the other side, we're going to set our amps rating. So we have to turn the knob up, and if this were powered up and we were using a real battery, you'd see the DC amps gauge rise. This one's even color-coded. 60 is the dividing line between the green, which is good, and the red, which is bad, but it also is for our start portion, but never go above the 60. So if this was a real battery, we would be charging now, and after 25 minutes, the timer will tick off and shut the machine off. It's the only way it will shut off automatically is if you set the timer. There is a hold feature all the way up. Oops, sorry. All the way up. And if you set it to hold, it will not shut off until you shut it off. You never use hold in here because you may forget about it. It might be in the middle of the day and you go for lunch, don't come back, and nobody knows it's charging. So always time it. Once you're done with the charge, You're gonna make sure that the timer has truly shut off, or click. We're going to turn our knobs to the lowest rate or setting again, and then unplug the power cord. And just like our golden rule says, it's the first one off as our black, negative, then the red, positive. We would wrap up our machine, put it away. We would then test our battery, make sure everything is good, ready for use to do run vehicle or do a load test. Now, just a couple more things. We have rules for battery charger safe use. The area needs to be well ventilated. So in here, we would turn on a fan and possibly open a door to get air moving across this battery to discharge any gases, displace any gases that might occur while we're charging. We don't want to let these clamps touch together with the machine on and the power cord in. That's why we follow the procedure the way we do it. There's our golden rule. The negatives is last on, first off. If the battery was frozen, completely discharged, but we know it has a low cell, we never want to charge those batteries. They have the potential for explosion. Make sure the vehicle battery cables are disconnected. When you go to charge this, this can be in the battery tray on the vehicle. Make sure the cables are disconnected before you put the load leads on and start the charging process. Make sure that we have no flames or sparks, or just grinding or operating a torch around it. If you're using the engine start feature, which would be the lower one here, 6 or 12 volts, then that's one time when the battery cables for the vehicle would be attached. And last thing, stop charging if you see anything wrong or detect anything like smoke, sparks. You're getting a real heavy odor that's not being taken away by the ventilation in the room. Slow the rate or stop the charge and figure out the problem. That should get you through your practice. Remember, what you practice, you will be tested on to be signed off and used.